I have quite a few people asking me how to pressure can, and it's not really something that I can show you in one video, but I am going to try. So the first thing you do to pressure can is you heat up 3 quarts of water, and then I add a little bit of vinegar so my jars look clear because they look all foggy if you don't. And while that's heating up, I wash all my jars. I am going to be making 19 pints of chicken noodle, so I'm sterilizing everything right now, and then we'll go on to phase 2. I forgot to mention also, while we're heating up this water, we heat up a little bit of water just to a simmer, and we are going to put all of our lids in there, and this will keep them sterile until we start canning. And it doesn't melt the rubber, but it makes it more airtight when you put it on your lid. So put all those in there while everything's heating up. Keep it clean. All right, so our water is hot. It's time to start filling our jars. Our lids are simmering. Oop. All my jars are sanitized. Aren't these cute little 2-ounce? This is for our ginger shots. I'm making a fresh batch tomorrow for some people that want some. If you want any, let me know. Now it's time to fill our jars. Real fast, check out my cheap little $20 DIY wall for now until we have court in January. We had to stop all our remodeling, our house stuff to save up, but as soon as court's over, the first thing I'm going to do is got this kitchen, and we're really excited for our pantry we're going to put in, but one step at a time. We got court in January, and then we can finish this kitchen, but for now, at least it covers up that ugly green wall. I couldn't stand staring at it. I got those tile at Dollar Tree, by the way. And yeah, it's not the prettiest, but it looks so much better than it did. Back to canning. Okay, when you're making chicken noodle soup or canning it, you don't want to add the noodles to it. Cook the noodles when you open the jars. They only take like 5 minutes, egg noodles. So what we're going to do, everything's washed and ready to go. We're going to start putting our chicken noodle in our jars. Okay, after you fill the jar, I usually move on and do all my jars, then go back and check, but for this video, I'm going to do it like this. Next, you use this. It's like a measuring tool, and it says the inches on there, so just look up whatever you're doing before you start pressure canning so you know. We are going to do a 1/2 inch headspace, so you put it right there, and you make sure it goes up to that. That way, in your canner, it's not overfilled or underfilled, and you have enough liquid so it doesn't siphon. There we go. I added a little more because it was a bit short. Now it's perfect. The next thing you want to do is just make sure there's no air bubbles. There's a tool for this, but I lost mine a long time ago. So we're just pushing this down to make sure there's no air bubbles. And now we are going to go through and do that same thing to every single jar. When you're filling your jars, never leave the bay leaves and things like that in it. It leaves like a hard texture. It turns into like a sharp stick in your soup, and you don't want that when you're cooking. It's a texture thing. Okay, now that all of our jars are filled, we are going to go through and wipe all the rims off all the way around and on the top with vinegar to make sure that we get a good seal and that nothing gets contaminated and there's no way that air can get in there later. So you make sure you do this step so that everything seals properly and stays sanitary. After you sanitize all of your rims, this is like a little magnet, you're going to go pull your lid out of the hot simmering water, and we're going to go put it on the lid. So I just got that out of the water. We're going to place this on here. Wrong lid. So we're going to place it on this one. I like to do it as I go. So I clean the rim, and then I put this on there right after I'm done and move on to the next one. So right now we're going to add the ring. Okay, so we're putting our ring on there. When you put your ring on, you want to do it just tight enough. I need my other hand. You don't want to over tighten it or leave it loose, just a little tight. All right, they're all ready to go in the canner. So now we are going to go place these in the canner. Let's put this in there. This is the All-American canner that I found at the state sale. I'm so excited to get to pressure can in this. I never got to do this before because my canner was smaller. But look, you can do more than one So now I can do all of these at once instead of several small batches. So you just put this down, and now we're going to add our second round of jars. Okay, all of our jars are in there. So now we are going to add the lid. On this particular canner, you put petroleum jelly around this so that it doesn't stick the metal to metal. This doesn't have a rubber seal, so I don't know if you have to do that, but at the end of your canning you will not be able to get the lid off because it like kind of glues together. So that's just a tip for this type of canner. So I'm just gonna use this and rub it around this part. I'm not putting it down in there. This is just so the lid comes off at the end. I'm sure there's probably a more organic way to do this, but this is what I was told to do, so this is what I'm doing. It doesn't get in the food or anything, so there we go. And now I'm going to put it on the inside of the lid. Here's the lid. We're just going to add it to this part all the way around. Alright, I washed my hands and now I'm putting on my lid. You just literally line it up like this. This canner is so awesome. That's all you do. You don't have to worry about, you know, all the old things where they talk about the lids blowing off. You don't have to worry about that, especially with this kind of canner. You just screw it on. They say to go across from it next. Just get them all screwed on really tight. I'm going to pause it and do this real quick. All right, now on this part, everything's on. Now we're just waiting for our pressure to build inside. So what we do is wait until it builds. You watch, depending on where you live, we're going to let it build to 15, and then we are going to keep it at that temperature. After it's at 15, this little thing is going to pop up, boom, and the steam's going to come out like that. And then we add our rattler on 15. And because we're cooking meat, we let it sit for 90 minutes. So we watch it, make sure the pressure doesn't go over 15, let it rattle for 90 minutes, shut it off, wait for everything to cool down, and you're done. But every canner is different on this part. So this thing pops up, put the little jiggler on, let it jiggle for 90 minutes. And that is how you can. It's not that hard. It just takes a little bit to learn and to learn what kind of canner you have. Every canner is a little bit different. So that's how we made and canned our chicken noodle.